Breaking news for the Chicago Bears as DeAndre Swift will not be available for them in their game against the Bengals on Sunday. So let's talk about this and a bunch of other updates that just came out with the injury report for the Bears. What is going on, y'all? Faiz Sports all back at it with another video talking, of course, some NFL here to talk about the Chicago Bears. So if you're a Bears fan, guys, please do hit that subscribe button down below and make sure to hit the bell icon so you're notified every time I drop a new video. All right, so as mentioned, Swift is out, man, and I was not expecting this to be the case. I know he was not practicing this week, but I thought, he's just going to, kind of sit out practice, be limited, and then be good to go for Sunday. But no, this hip injury is keeping him out. And let's take a look at the practice report, and I'll give you guys my full thoughts here because the run game is going to be severely compromised against the Bengals. So here we go. The full practice report here. We have obviously DeAndre Swift out. Roschon Johnson is also out with a back injury. And then we have Dominique Robinson and Luther Burden both out. Domra with an ankle and Luther Burden with a concussion. Amen O is questionable, even though he had full practices since Wednesday, which is interesting. Grady Jarrett with a DNP on Friday. We'll see with him. And then Cole Kmet is good to go. So is DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Tyreek Stevenson, Joe Tooney, and Olamide Zaccheaus. All right, so let's start with the run game first and foremost, okay? DeAndre Swift being out for the Bears is a big blow. It's a big blow. And honestly, it's big enough that I think it changes the game plan. Not significantly, but I would say a good amount. Okay? And here is why. I believe that when you have Kyle Monengai now as your lead back, the fact that you don't even have a, I would say, capable backup that you feel, that you can kind of rotate guys with, makes it kind of hard to depend on the run game as much. Now, look, I'm so excited for Kyle Monengai to get this opportunity and see what he can do as a starter and getting the bulk of the carries here. But at the end of the day, you don't have much behind him. It's going to be Travis Homer, Roschon's out as well, and then you elevate Britton Brown from the practice squad. And so I feel like Ben Johnson going into this week, if he had DeAndre Swift as, his lead back and then Monengai behind him, he wouldn't be afraid to run the ball, 25, 30 times. Now, I think with just Kyle Monengai there, I think the game plan might switch a little bit more pass heavy than previously, thought of or predicted prior to the Swift injury. And now, look, man, I told you guys I was so super critical of Swift, but he's been running really well lately, and so obviously that's a big loss for us. And so I just don't know if Ben Johnson is ready to put a lot on this kid's plate. I'm referring to Kyle Monengai right now. And so that's why I'm like, okay, I don't know if he's going to do that. And then it's like Homer and Britton Brown, like these guys, have they even gotten a carry this year? So to me, that's where I'm like, okay, it might be more of a pass-centric game plan. And that's fine because, look, the Bengals defense is bad overall, period, all right? They're just really terrible against the run, but they're not a great pass defense. And we have our full complement of receivers besides Luther Burden. All right, you have DJ Moore, you have Rome Odunze, you have OZ, you have Cole Kmet coming back, you have Colson Loveland. So utilize your strength at this point, which is going to be your passing attack. Obviously, if Kyle Monengai's got it going, let the kid rock. All right, let the kid get 20 carries if he's running the football well. But if he's struggling, if he's not able to, consistently get downhill, then I think Ben Johnson will have no problem leaning on this passing attack. And like I said, folks, the Bengals defense is just bad overall. So to me, I don't think Caleb would have any issues shredding this defense via the air. And so to me, that is what I feel like is going to be the impact here. But yeah, obviously, hopefully it's not a long-term thing with DeAndre Swift here. Certainly would have been nice to have another running back here if we traded for one. So trade deadline coming up here, we'll see. But yeah, man, DeAndre Swift's hip injury, not good. Ben Johnson even talked about it in his press conference, saying that, we need to get Swifty some rest here. And again, this is, I guess, the rest that he's getting. So you just hope that it's not serious, but it would have been really nice to have another decent back on this team, because now you're depending on Travis Homer and you're depending on Britton Brown, guys like that off the practice squad behind a 7th-round rookie at that. So hopefully, doesn't impact the game plan too much, but, you know, that's what I think. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below with your thoughts. I want to hear from you guys as always. Thanks for watching.